How to bring someone to book. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. And with Supersize Your Business, our idiom, our expression today is to bring someone to book. This is one of those expressions that's been around since the early 1800s. And I think I knew sort of what it meant, but it's got a lot more to do with punishment and holding people accountable to, in a negative way, to something that they've done wrong, or to explain themselves or their behavior officially. I think of bring people in front of some kind of a judiciary system, or in front of a Senate or a House of Representatives, or however you do it, some kind of governmental body or agency to explain themselves. You think of the we've seen a lot of that over the last decade, and recently with the social media gang in front of the subcommittees answering questions, to bring them forward to answer for something. Now, sometimes there's punishment involved, sometimes not. Sometimes we just want to get a better feeling for what's going on in a situation. But this expression basically means to punish somebody for an offense, or to make them explain officially what happened. Now, how do we use this in growing and building and supersizing our businesses? Well, I think of course, feedback, performance appraisals, sharing expectations. How do you do that in your organization? Do you have a formal system or a way of providing feedback? Do you automatically give people feedback? I learned early on in my career that a performance appraisal or a performance review should never be the first time anybody hears anything about themselves or feedback from other people. If I haven't been giving the person that I'm reviewing or the person that I'm interacting with and working with feedback along the way every day or every week or on some regular frequency, so that they're surprised by something that I think or feel or was upset about in their performance or super pleased about in their performance, only once a year at the performance appraisal, then I am, as a leader and manager, and especially as a business owner looking to supersize and grow my business, I am doing my business, the organization, and the person, and even myself, a disservice, because people want to do a great job. They just want to. People always want to know that they're doing well and that they're doing a good job. So we need to be continually letting them know that. What are your expectations? How is the person meeting or exceeding your expectations? I always find it amazing that if you tell people what you want for an outcome or a result, and you let them go about getting it for you, the vast majority of them, and yes, of course there are exceptions, but the vast majority of people will far exceed your expectations, and they'll far exceed their own expectations. Personally, when it comes to feedback and expectations, I believe in focusing on people's strengths, this is just me, and minimizing their weaknesses, or supplementing with other people that the area that I'm weak in is their strength. I think accounting. I can do accounting. I can do taxes. I just don't want to ever do it. I want to have somebody else do that for me. And somebody that absolutely loves to do it. So I'm trying to think if I've ever felt like, well, I got fired once, and so I felt like somebody was bringing me to book when really I hadn't done anything. So I guess I know what it feels like to be on the other side of that, when you're asked to explain something that you don't even know what you're being asked to explain, because it had nothing to do with you. Interesting, right? But I'm trying to think if I've always held people accountable. If you're responsible for something, I've always held people responsible and accountable. And if something's happened, and if there's a reasonable explanation for why something's gone the way it has, that's how we learn. That's how we learn and grow, is by going through those situations and pulling out the lessons learned, so that we make different choices. We do something different next time. We don't fall into the little pitfalls and roadblocks and stumbling blocks that we all fall into, or we all run up against when we are faced with all of the crazy, chaotic, changing situations that happen in our businesses and in our lives. So especially with COVID this last year, people have had the opportunity or the chance to explain what they have and haven't done, what has and hasn't worked for them, what they have and have not tried, what they will and will not do moving forward, how resistant or accepting they are of changes and challenges moving forward in their lives and in their business. So love to know what your experience has been with this particular idiom, to bring someone to book. Have you had to bring someone to book? As a parent, guess what? Most of us have had to bring some of our kids to book over various life learning lessons throughout they're growing up. I guarantee my parents had to bring me to book a couple of times when I was a kid, because that's how we learn. We learn by doing and experiencing and making mistakes and then figuring out what to do better or different next time. All right, have an amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting book-related idiom. It turns out that King Alfred is credited with the term book in the late 800s. So there's a lot of history with book-related idioms, and they definitely apply to our businesses and our lives. Readers are leaders. Leaders are readers. Absolutely, positively true. It's not just a cliche or something we say. All right, have a great day. I will be with you tomorrow.